Education is your greatest tool. Let's learn how to use it. What's going on, guys? It's your boy ABWAY on the one. I try to help you in your life by giving you experiences from mine. And today we're going to be talking about why you should always, and I mean always, be educating yourself, regardless of how it comes through. But before we get to the video, please make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow, and we've been moving really quickly with our growth, and it helps me out. So please make sure that you go down there if you really love this video, because let me tell you something, I'm really trying to grow with you, and we're trying to grow together. Education, man. Every time that concept is brought up, every time that word is brought up, people get scared because they usually think it's always about academic education. I'm not here to just talk about academic education. I'm talking about education on all fronts. Not just academic education, but also education through experience, education through reading, education through research. All these forms of education allow for you to live an informed life. And even when you think you know it all, what you'll start to realize is that you don't know it all at all. As a matter of fact, you know nothing. And that's something that is so important on this journey that we're trying to go on together. You know, I used to let me rephrase. When I was younger, I used to read a lot. Like, I would read a whole bunch of books. I would read the Warriors Cap books. I'd read the Percy Jackson books. Shout out to Percy Jackson, the GOAT young adult novel. I don't care what anybody says. Those books, the Percy Jackson and then the Heroes of Olympus, goated. You're not going to tell me anything different. But anyway, I used to read because reading always took me to a place where I felt like I could be myself. It always helped me expand my mind. It always expand my vocabulary. You know, in elementary and middle school, I was a beast when it came to language arts and into reading, because I was just a reader. You know, I would use big words in class. I was always the geek who would always do the crazy stuff in terms of presenting, and I was always eloquent, you know, more eloquent than my classmates growing up. But I was in love with being invested in crazy new worlds. And what ended up happening was, as I started developing into a teenager, I really started to fall out of faith with the whole reading thing. You know, reading became boring. You know, educating myself became yawn. It wasn't the high life. I was much more inclined to go out and hang out with my friends, have sex, you know, those types of things, as opposed to really trying to zone in and focus on what's important, and that's educating myself. It wasn't until the pandemic hit that I really started to remember what it was like to educate myself, and I wanted to start this journey for real in terms of improving myself. So what ended up happening was I started delving into books. One of my boys got me hip to David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, and I listened to it, and from there on is when I really started, even though it was, you know, a jagged exponential progression, I really started getting into re-educating myself and learning more and taking in the world and trying to understand as much as possible. And let me tell you something, the knowledge that I have now has gotten me so much farther in life than anything could have ever had. And yet at the same time, I still know nothing. But the advantage that I have now is that I'm able to take all the information that I've soaked in by educating myself and really started to apply it in my daily life. And the moment that you're able to do that, you start to get real power over your life. You know, academic education is good, but it's not the only form of education. Experience is also a great teacher. And the more that you experience new things, the more that you get out there, the more that you get out of your comfort zone, well, then in that respect, you are able to learn. You're getting educated about the real world. And take it from somebody who's introverted, because I hate stepping out of my comfort zone. I would much rather do something that I'm more accustomed to. But even the habits that I've adopted now, a couple years ago, I would be considering them as stepping out of my comfort zone. So academic education, important, okay? But also, experience, also important. Another form of education that I highly, and I mean highly recommend is that you really sit there and you read about financial education. Boy, let me tell you something. I did not understand that money was such an abundant resource until I started doing the research and reading books on financial literacy. And I am so shocked that so many people have no idea how important financial education is, because the school system won't teach you that. So you have to go out and research it for yourself. Watch YouTube videos, but I highly prefer to read books. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second. This bad boy right here. This bad boy right here is literally my gateway, my literal gateway to success. This is a Kindle. Obviously, it's a special edition, you know, but I advise everybody, and I mean anybody and everybody watching this video, get yourself a Kindle, because you're able to obviously buy and download books and be able to read as much as you can. I'm able to take this Kindle with me anywhere, and the battery doesn't die, bro. It's insane. It's actually crazy how effective the Kindle is. It's interesting because people don't value reading. People don't value intaking information to a degree where you can really learn. And it's crazy because continuous education is literally what makes successful people. People who put their egos to the side and realize that they didn't know anything about the world, they go into a good book, and then once they're done with that book, they get into another book because there's so much knowledge and information. But when it comes to education, man, those are the 3 types that I would emphasize the most. Academic education, at least get your bachelor's, you know, or your associates. Go to college so that you could feel yourself out and know what you're trying to do in life. And that's where academic education comes in, because you're in school, you know, from kindergarten into high school, and you learn the basic tenets of being a human being and understanding the basic skills if you take the right classes. But also financial education. I can't emphasize this enough. Go read financial books. Learn about how money works, because you'll start to realize there are several different ways to make money, and you could have been making a passive income at this point in time if you had started reading a couple years ago, but you didn't. That's because you didn't know what you were talking about. And also, last but definitely not least, experience the education of life. Go out and experience new things. Understand that you have one life to live, and the more that you learn is the more that you go out and see. You will literally be able to see the world, travel, learn, watch YouTube videos, learn different things about cultures. Try to expand your mind, because you live in a small speck in the universe, but yet that small speck to you is a whole big wide world, and there's so much to explore and so much to learn. So with all that being said, that will bring this video to a close. I really hope that I helped y'all, and if you guys really enjoyed the video, please make sure you go down and like, comment, and subscribe. As I mentioned before, it really helps me out. And I'm just here trying to bring value, and if I'm not, you can let me know down below. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.